Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear members and friends, welcome to the institutional opening of the annual conference of the AEBR 2024, Building Security and Resilience in European Border Regions. To begin with the opening session, it's my pleasure to invite Turid Backe-Viken, Mayor of Trysil Municipality, to deliver her speech, please.
Like this?
It's on.
It's on.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Dear President, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear all of you. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to Trysil. And we are so honored to host this important conference about development, security, and resilience in European border regions. This is a topic that resonates strongly with our community. And I hope you had an interesting conference so far. You are now in Trysil, which is Norway's largest ski destination, and a place deeply rooted in nature and tradition. In Trysil, we believe that sustainable growth is key to securing the future for both our region and Europe as a whole. Over the years, we have worked hard to balance economic development with the preservation of our natural surroundings and our unique culture. We see great opportunities in tourism, green innovation, and strengthening our local industries. We have over 50 years of experience in developing commercial, sustainable tourism, and we were one of the first destinations in Europe to receive the certification as a sustainable destination. I am also having the honor of giving a speech tomorrow, and then I will tell you more about our history, experiences, and possibilities of further development and growth. I will also tell you about different collaborations that we participate in here in Trysil, and one of them is SITE, which is 4 municipalities in Norway and Sweden working together with common challenges. We'll tell more about that tomorrow. This gathering brings together diverse expertise, and I'm sure that our discussions and collaborations will inspire new solutions for regional development that can benefit all of us. I also hope that you take the time to experience the beauty and hospitality of Trysil while you are here. And I will take the chance to show you some appetizers from our municipality. So I brought a little film that I want to show you, just a short one. Thank you, and once again, welcome to Trysil.
Thank you very much. The next speech will be delivered by Daniel Schützer, Chair of Committee of the Healthcare Region, Värmland. Please take the floor.
Dear President, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to welcome you all to the region of Värmland and to fylke Innlandet. For those of you who didn't go to the cross-border school yesterday, I'm telling you, you missed something. It was really, really good. And if you have a chance next year, you should really do it. It was great. For those of you who were there, you met my colleague Erik, and He introduced himself by saying that he's working with regional development and saying he had all the fun things. He might be right about that, but what he forgot to mention is that since I'm the president of the healthcare committee, I have all the money. I've been thinking, what should I say that doesn't sound like all the others here? And, you know, before I took over the healthcare questions in the region, I was mayor in a small municipality right at the border to Norway. Meaning I was mayor during the pandemic and during the refugee crisis. But you already know all about that because you have similar experiences. So I thought I'd share just a short story with you instead. This is the story about Harry and his team of rowers. You know rowing, the competition. The UK is known to be really, really good at it. And they compete individually, in pairs, 4 and 8. And the big thing, that's when 8 people in the same boat are competing, because they go so fast. They even go so fast that you can go water skiing behind the boat. But what happened, even though the UK had the best rowers in the world, they didn't compete in that game. So for over 80 years, they didn't take one medal until Harry came into the picture. And what did he do? Well, of course, they trained hard, but he asked them one question. He said, in whatever you do, ask yourself this one question. Will it make the boat go faster? So when they were at the gym, should they do 8 or 10 repeats? Well, they did 10 because it would make the boat go faster. When they were supposed to have lunch, should they go to McDonald's or should they have something good to eat? They skipped McDonald's. When they went to the bar, should they drink beer or water? Well, what made the boat go faster? That was the question. And in the Olympics, they won the gold medal. So it worked. And I think it's time that we also start asking, what is our question? And I think the question we should ask ourselves is this building a stronger, more sustainable, and more resilient Europe? If we ask that, I think we're going to take so many good decisions. Is cross-border cooperation building a stronger Europe? Yes. Is involving local communities building a better Europe? Yes. Is supporting the Ukraine building a stronger, more sustainable, and more resilient Europe? Yes. Is slaughtering the cohesion policy building a stronger, better, and more resilient Europe? No, not at all. It helps us take good decisions. So that's what I'm giving you. Think about Harry, the one question that makes us much better leaders and much better decision makers. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Hanne Alstrup, Velure, Deputy Mayor of Innlandet.
Can you hear me? Well, dear President Karl-Heinz Lambertz, dear ladies, dear gentlemen, a special greeting and welcome to our friends from Ukraine. Welcome to Norway, the Innlandet County, and to Trysil. It is a great pleasure for Innlandet County Council, together with our good friends across the border in Sweden, to host the General Assembly and the annual conference of AEBR in 2024. The fact that this annual conference is located in this border region of Trysil and Sälen is a consequence of a long-standing AEBR tradition of showcasing different border regions across Europe. We want to show what it is what it's like to live, work, and be able to commute across national borders, and that we can utilize the collective expertise within border regions and connect the cities, towns, to solve challenges that are simply too big for each of us, one by one. Therefore, the AEBR B-Solution initiative is very important to support growth and cohesion in the EU's border regions. The AEBR B-Solutions brings up a series of issues. How can the border regions cooperate on important service functions? How can clusters and networks for small and medium-sized businesses be established in the border region? And how can universities and research communities collaborate across national borders? For the Nordic countries, ever closer cooperation was shaped by the establishment of the Nordic Council in 1952. In the same spirit, a groundbreaking security alliance was established with the NATO by 1949. Furthermore, the Schuman Declaration of May 9th, 1950, which predates today's EU, in essence promoted two fundamental principles: peace and solidarity. The Nordic cooperation early made visible the need to facilitate cross-border cooperation by establishing border committees. One of the first of them between Innlandet and Värmland in 1967. Later, by the mid-90s, the EU Interreg programs became, and still is, a key policy instrument to promote sustainable growth and cohesion in the Nordic border areas. The European principles of peace and solidarity came again on the forefront when the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the EU in 2012 for promoting peace, reconciliation, democracy, and human rights in Europe. In light of the present situation, the Nobel Peace Prize in 2022 was awarded to an Ukrainian human rights organization, the Center for Civil Rights, led by the human rights lawyer Alexandra Mavlychuk. That was not easy to say, just as my last name. Her center documents war, crimes, and conveys knowledge about democracy and human rights, and must have our full support. We live in a demanding time, a tough time, with a war of aggression in Ukraine initiated by President Putin and his regime, in violation of international law and in an inhuman war also targeting civilians and civil infrastructure. It is therefore natural that that at this annual conference we raise the topic of security and cooperation in European regions and border regions. We see that conventional warfare is combined with more hybrid warfare, where agents of influence, through the use of digital surfaces and disinformation, attempt to break European cohesion and cooperation. Security and cooperation are about much more than just the military items. Crisis preparedness, cooperation between all levels of government, and not the least safeguarding our democratic values. In the introduction to this year's conference, the discussion about future cohesion policy for the period of 2028 till 2034 was raised. The cohesion policy in the very core of European cooperation. Here, the AEBR is a vital player when it comes to influencing future policy. And please allow me to credit our president, Mr. Karl-Heinz, Lambertz for his significant and relentless efforts to put forward arguments in the European Parliament, the Commission and the Regional Committee about strengthening cross-border cooperation. Thank you, Karl-Heinz. Dear friends, peace and solidarity goes and must go hand in hand. In Europe, no security without cooperation. I once again wish you all a warm welcome and look forward to good discussions in the coming days here in Trysil. Welcome.
Our next speaker is Ms. Jelena Drenjanin, Chair of the Governance Committee, Congress of Local and Regional Authorities. Please.
Thank you. Well, dear AEBR President, members of the Association of European Border and Regions, and participants. I would like to start to thank you for inviting the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities, and especially President Mr. Karl-Heinz Lambertz, but also the Secretary General, Mr. Martin Guillermo Ramirez, for the kind invitation to address this year's annual conference on the behalf of the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities. The Congress is celebrating 30 anniversaries as well as 75 years of the Council of Europe and 10 years of rejuvenating politics initiative of the Congress. And that strongly supports involvement in youth in public life and work of the Congress. The Congress always supported strong decentralized cross-border cooperation, and the history of our content teaches us that unified and democratic way is the only way to be successful when national frontiers become permeable. And only in this way, space can be created for mutual understanding, cooperation, but also solidarity. The long-standing relations and excellent cooperation between the Congress and AEBR, this was also actively encouraged by the former Congress Vice President and current AEBR President, Mr. Karl-Heinz Lambertz, who will finish this mandate. And I would like to highlight the outstanding work of Mr. Karl-Heinz Lambertz in this field of the promotion of local democracy and transfrontier cooperation. With his great commitment and passion, he made a lasting impact on the cross-border cooperation in Europe and made a major contribution to the work of the Congress in this area. He has been leading as a rapporteur of many landmark reports, and including reports on regional identities, fair distribution of taxes in transfrontier areas, that was in 19, autonomy and borders in 16, and transfrontier of cooperation in Europe 2009. That's just a few of them. And in recent years, border regions have experienced, as has been mentioned here today, a complex challenges, and it's posed both man-made but also natural disasters. The Russian war of aggression against Ukraine has been mentioned so many times again. Has to be mentioned again because it's the gravest threat to European security. It has broken an entire security architecture built through cooperation, including inter-regional cooperation over many decades. But it has also caused a massive human loss of life, injuries, and suffering. Unprecedented destructions of infrastructure, sometimes of entire cities and villages, a displacement of millions within the country and across Europe and beyond. But this war has also triggered in responses a remarkable way of solidarity and support to Ukraine, notably at all the levels of European regions. COVID-19 crisis shown how devastating a global health threat can hit us. and our social and economic cross-border systems, and that has also been mentioned here today. In this context, we saw how border crossings were suddenly rebuilt, but reconstruction of national border does not make Europe a safer place, and it's not a viable long-term response. Instead, leading on coordinated and cooperative responses have proved to be instrumental. So, with continued environmental degradation, biodiversity loss and climate change, we have seen more frequent occurrence of hazards such as droughts, wildfires and floods. Growing consumption and continued urbanization aggravate resources scarcity. With accelerated technology change and hyperconnectivity, we have become more vulnerable in front of cyber attacks and systematic disinformation efforts. To face the current and emerging challenges, regardless of whether they are environmental, sanitary, or man-made, we need a strong multi-level governance approach. This comprises, besides the engagement of all tiers of government, also horizontal cross-border cooperation. Security cannot be achieved without cooperation, and border regions play a prominent role in this. And therefore, as many said, we need to improve it and strengthen it. In these turbulent times, with growing sense of insecurity, there is always a temptation to resort to populist measures. However, a democratic backsliding weakens us. We are stronger and more resilient if we cooperate and respect values of human rights, democracy, and rule of law. So we need to strengthen our commitment and action for human rights, as was pointed out at the 4th Reykjavik Summit of Heads of State and Government on the Council of Europe. And I would repeat again, each of us in this room can do something to improve this work. So I want to thank you all for your attention and wish everyone a good annual assembly. And we have through it, I know, but due to changes, we had this initially talk now. Thank you.
Thank you. And at the end, we will have the president of the AEBR, Karl-Heinz Lambertz, to deliver the opening speech. Please.
Dear members, dear friends of AEBR, it's not the last speaker, but also my last speech as president of the AEBR, and you can be sure it will not be a testament. First of all, I want to express our thanks for the hosts of this General Assembly and the summer school and the Congress we have today. Dear representatives from Trysil, Innlandet and Värmland, it was a splendid organization, not now, and I'm sure it will continue. And if we make the opening in the middle of the event, then we can be even surer that it will be a success. It is a wonderful place, and also a very professional organization. Thank you for that, and I will also repeat my personal thanks to Björn Terje Andersen, who invited us to this event. It was a little surprise, as you said it, in the end of one of our executive bureau meetings, and I'm sure it was a wonderful gift for each of us. I want also to thank Jelena for the speech and the nice words, but first of all for the long and deep cooperation that exists between the Congress and AEBR. Cross-border cooperation was always a very important issue in Strasbourg. And it is even more diverse there than in the European Union, in Brussels, because the border situations in the states who are not members of the European Union are more challenging, more complicated, and sometimes even more important. So I hope that we can continue this cooperation in the future, and I am sure that we have to do much things together in the next years. Dear colleagues, our annual meeting takes place on a very important moment. The world is changing. We have many problems that we even not imagined 10 or 20 years ago. And all these problems have much to do with security in a larger sense. And also with resilience, because if you have not enough security, you can only change it with more resilience. And this lack of security concerns peace, a very new element in the recent European history. It also concerns climate, digitalization with new forms of risks and even war. Also demographic change. It is a big issue if we go in details, not only for China, for every state also in our regions. And security has also to do something with the social situation of people. People who cannot live correctly have a deep situation of insecurity. But all these objective facts are not the most important aspect of security. The most aspect of security is an aspect of feeling. Reality is important, facts are very important, but the most dangerous aspect also for democracy and for human rights and for all things we are struggling for is this feeling of peoples who are insecure. And that is a great boulevard for populists and all people who want to destroy our democracy. And the border situation, who are very important in Europe because we have the highest density of borders in the world. The borders are concerned in a real special way because security is always linked to different sorts of borders. On the territory, in the head of the people, and in many other aspects. And these borders have a big function, and we can only solve the problems if we are able to go ahead, to make cooperation possible, and to avoid isolation and even conflicts. This work is a very special work, and all the people who are here and who are part of the family of the transborder organizations in Europe know it very well. It is a real complicated activity, and that is an activity that is based on patience, but also on force and strong engagement, and it is for all something that must be done each day on another way, and you will never finish. You must be able to avoid the obstacles and to bring people who are living in the borders together, to make them partners, friends, and that is not always very easy, because the most important aspect of this is trust, and there is nothing that can disappear so big as trust if you have something that doesn't work in a relation. You need a long time to construct trust, but you can lose it in a second. So we have an important work to do, and all the issues we discuss now during our annual meeting here can contribute. They can contribute to solutions, but they can also give us inspiration. If you are walking in your border region, you are often alone, and you have the impression that you are so far from your capital that people there are not really interested by what happens in your situation. But if you are together, and if you realize that you are so strong, if you are together, then you can find a way to make progress, and you can certainly also learn very much from each other. And we can certainly learn very good things from the experience in the Nordic states. The Nordic transborder cooperation is an old one, a famous one, but it is not so good known in other places in Europe. So we have to exchange and to learn from each other, and it make us certainly stronger and better prepared to the challenges we have to resolve in the next years. So I thank you for your participation. I thank you for the 12 years we had the opportunity to work together, and where I had to make what must be done for the respect of the timing in meetings where everyone goes out of the time. It was possible, I think, even today. At a certain moment we had 1 hour of delay, and in the end we had 2 minutes. And we must continue, so now we have 10 minutes delay. It's really the moment for me to finish. Thank you for your presence, and I'm sure we will have a nice evening, and also a very good meeting tomorrow and after tomorrow for the persons who can stay here. Thank you very much.
One thing before you go. I forgot the most important thing I was supposed to say because I said so many things. But did you know that last week at the 47th Congress session, Mr. Lambertz was awarded with the Congress Medal to honorary members for his outstanding achievements throughout his career. So I would like to congratulate him again for the Congress, but I think you would too.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you very much. And the official opening is now finished, and we invite you for a buffet dinner that will start at 7:30. Please be on time. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess. I forgot to say it. And then I was like, yeah. Everybody can be impressed. They want to hang out with the guy with the medal.